Hello and welcome to another tutorial here with Fly the Noob. This is going to be a bare-bone beginner's guide for flight simmers to the newly released black square Cessna Caravan Pro that you can pick up from Just Flight. Now before we get started, I would like to remind you that this is an advanced simulation that it does include modeled failures, which we're going to take a look at in just a bit. Okay, we're here in walk around mode. And the aircraft has what we have come to expect from most other aircrafts. We can interact with the doors, right? All the doors are pretty much interactable here. You can open and close them from the outside, from the inside, as well as from the EFP that is included with this aircraft. So we can do that for almost every door. So very straightforward, single click to close and open it. Just remember that the pilot and co-pilot doors have stairs and you need to retract them before you can close your pilot and co-pilot doors again. Okay, it does have the chocks and the engine covers and all that stuff. You can choose whether you want to spawn in with these deployed or removed. I like to have them removed when I start up. So that's up to you. You can change that option from the EFP, which we'll take a look at in just a second. All right, that being said, let's jump into the cockpit and see how we can get this started up from cold and dark as quickly as possible so that you can enjoy the aircraft as a flight simmer. All right. Okay, here we are in the cockpit. It has lovely analog dials everywhere. You can swap out a lot of options here with the avionics. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. So that is the control lock. You can get it removed there and it stores itself down here. The wheel chocks are down here as well. See that? You can actually put them, deploy them and store them back just by pressing this spot here. All right, great. I don't know where the pitot covers are though. Anyway, let's take a look at the tablet. First, we've got a bunch of options here, and these are the options that I like to use. I like to have the tablet in a static position right here. It allows for a quick reference to it whenever I need to. Then we've got the realistic yoke movement. If you want to see that, it's pretty nice to see that, so I leave that on. Then you can choose whether you want to load with the covers and chocks deployed right here. Cloud strobe effect, and a bunch of other options. You can configure this however you like. You've got your avionics selection, your primary and secondary. I like to leave it on 530 and 430. Very familiar systems at this point because they're available on a lot of other GA aircraft. You can, of course, choose the GTN 750 or the 650. You also have less advanced options as well. Depends on what you like. All right, let's go to our payload page. From here, you can control the weight of every single person on every single seat in the aircraft. You can choose your fuel in each of the tanks. Exterior elements can be controlled from here as well with wheel chocks, rudder lock, pitot covers, engine covers, external power, however you like. Now, one of the things I should mention is the rudder lock. So let's jump back outside for a second here. Now, this aircraft has one unique feature on the outside compared to most other GA aircraft, and that is this rudder lock that we have. So, before flight, the rudder lock has to be in the unlock position so the rudder can move freely. But if we lock the rudder, this is what it looks like. Ideally, during your walk around, you will unlock this. Unlock it like such before flying. Now, in case you do forget to unlock it, you can do that either from right here on the tablet, or if your rudder lock is engaged, you can also simply pull back on the yoke all the way back, and that will automatically disengage the rudder lock. So let's take a look at that. There we go. Rudder lock will get disengaged automatically as well. So you've got your options there in case you forget. All right, great. Here is your standard conversion between different units. That's not a big deal. Then you've got your engine. Now, a typical with black square simulations, you have a very advanced view, or rather a visualization of how the engine is working, what's going on, how the different things work, such as the boost pump, what exactly the fuel is doing as it's flowing down the lines. It's very useful, especially if you're new to the aircraft. It really helps you stay on top of things. So feel free to use this page. As a matter of fact, we're going to use this page today just so I can show you guys exactly what's going on and why we do things the way we do. Well, I'm not an expert, but just from a beginner's point of view, we can take a look at that. All right, now engine condition, if you do things that are going to damage the engine slightly, you can always repair it right here. Okay, and bring it back to 100%. You can also recharge your battery right here if you want to. So yeah, you can clear the engine, repair the starter, clean the filters. So there are a bunch of options here that you can reset the engine with. Next, you've got your electronics, your electric systems, not your electronics per se. You can see the different buses and yeah, it's not a page I usually look at much. Next, you've got your cabin. Now, here you can control the airflow, the temperature of the cabin, and how exactly the ventilation systems are working. There's a bunch of valves that you can control, a bunch of fans, AC, heating element. So there are a number of stuff that we can control. As you can tell right now, we are baking in the sun. Yeah, I guess we're in a hot part right now. But yeah, we are baking right now in a solar oven of sorts, but we'll take a look at this in just a second. Outside temperature is 33 degrees Celsius. Okay, now here comes the more important page. I spent 3.5 hours trying to sort out what I thought was a bug with the plane and then the simulator. All it was the cargo latch door. The cargo door latch, my bad. The cargo door latch randomly failing. I couldn't get it to close no matter what I did, and I thought it was because there was a bug. I spent so many hours trying to fix that. I recommend that you take the global failure rate and put it on 0. And when you want something to fail, just press fail. Okay? So the color indicates how likely they are to fail. As you can tell, these things that are in red are likely to fail and give you problems often. So just something to remember, it has a lot of failures. Okay, so unless you're very familiar with this, which I don't think you are, if you're watching this tutorial, turn it off. It will help you. Okay, just keep it off. Obviously, you can reset and restore any defaults from here. And by default, I believe by default it's supposed to come with into 1 failure rate. Anyway, all that being said, let's go ahead and get this aircraft started up. Okay. First things first, let's take a look at the control column here. Make sure your throttle is on idle right there, which it is. You got your RPM. Let's push that somewhere there to max. Let's cut off there for the condition lever. These two are pushed in. That's fine. Great. Let's get rid of the yokes for better visibility of the controls down here. Now, first thing, you go up here, the overhead. Turn on your fuel tank selectors on both sides. There you go. Next thing you want to do, you don't have to do this, but you can. That is to put your external power on here. It will show up right there. You can go and switch this all the way to the front. Bus. There we go. You can turn on the battery. Okay. You can turn on avionics. Can put our nav lights on like so. Okay, so that's something to remember. Nav lights on, and this is our beacon light. We'll turn that on in just a bit as well. Okay, great. So we're gonna give this a second for this to boot up. Not that you have to, but yes. So yeah, this is just avionics 1 that we have turned on for the time being. Good. Let's go to the engine page here so we can visualize as we start up our engine here. First thing you want to do, there's our GPS. Let's just begin the aligning and acquiring GPS signal process right here. We're going to leave that. Okay, we're going to leave that. Next thing, we are on altitude mode on the transponder. That's fine. We can leave our weather radar on standby mode, which it is. That's fine. Great. We seem to be ready to get our engine started up. So first thing you want to do, fuel boost can come to on. And as you see, the boost pump is running. Fuel is running down. There we go. Give it a few seconds. FCU turns green. Great. We can go ignition normal. And then we can go to the starter. Okay. Starter is engaged. Now NG is now past 12%, so we can push this lever to low idle. There we go. We're gonna continue that. We're gonna wait for NG to pass 52, which it has. Let's put our starter off. Ignition back down to normal. Fuel boost back down to normal. There we go. We've effectively started up the engine without any issues. Now we've got our generator off. To do that, you have to reset the generator. There you go. Generator is working. Brilliant. That is done. We can turn on our second avionics switch right there. That will bring the secondary, the weather radar, to life. Okay. So for now it's on standby. That's fine. Good. Oh, we forgot to turn on the beacon lights, by the way. That's my bad. We should have turned on the beacon lights before starting the engine. So it's best to turn this on immediately. Remember that. Okay. Now we can set our, perhaps an altitude here that we want our autopilot to climb to initially, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 feet. Okay, let's wait for the signals to be acquired there as well. Good. Now we can close the switch. We can get rid of the external power. We don't need it anymore. There we go. Now this standby alternate power, usually you switch it on before takeoff, but you can switch it on right now. So you leave that on, and this is looking all good right here in this panel. Okay, good. That all being done, we can now go ahead and taxi our aircraft. Now, in case you're wondering where we are at the airport of Longreach. We're in Longreach in Australia. That's where we're at. Longreach, Australia is where we are. Okay, so after all of that is done, you can go to your cabin. You can take a look at the electronics if you want. I don't know why I call it electronics. The electrical systems if you want. External power is off. Avionics standby power and bus tie, but can tell everything else is functioning as it should. Shouldn't be an issue. Let's come to the cabin. Now we've got 50 degrees Celsius in here. That is not good at all. So let's work on getting this cabin down to an acceptable condition. To do that, we've got okay, we can't really see it from here, so let me just go back to this view. So we've got a fan here. If you press cool, that's gonna get the AC to run, and to do that you need to increase the throttle slightly. There we go. That will get the AC compressor here to start running if we want to cool our aircraft, our cabin down. However, you can also put it on just ventilate mode. That's just going to run the fans here, nothing else. But for today we definitely need it on cool, so we're going to turn that on. Okay, there we go. We can turn the 3 fans right here, the AC fans, right, left and aft, to high or low, depending on our requirement. Today, I'm going to turn them on high, make sure we have good airflow. Another thing, if you want to heat the cabin, you can turn this on, and that will begin heating the cabin, but we're not going to do that today. And this knob right here is going to control our temperature target. So notice how the temperature target is changing, just like it is in the Piston Duke, as a matter of fact. So we're going to target 23 degrees Celsius here. Next, this particular lever here, we want it pulled when we're on the ground. Okay, that's for the mixing of the air right here, this valve right here. And we want it pushed when we're in flight. So remember that. So for now, we're going to pull it. This valve right here controls this one right here. This lever here controls this valve right here. There you go. So you can put it in whichever position you want. Okay. There you go. Same with this one. It's whether you want to defrost or whether you want to come this way towards the heating, and it controls the valve right here. Okay, good. So for today, we are trying to cool down the cabin, and it is cooling down, but it's going to take a while because it is already very, very hot. So we're going to leave it the way it is. We're going to keep this pushed in for flight. Okay, let's come down here to the lighting panel. Turn on the taxi lights. You can turn these on as well. So you can leave the cabin lights off. We do not need pitot heats today or any of the heating elements, as a matter of fact, but they are here if you want to use them. Okay, given all of that, I think we're ready to taxi, right? We're ready to taxi. So yeah, we're going to leave the propeller a little high for the AC there. Now we can push this before takeoff to high idle is what you would normally do. And for now, we can leave this at low idle. Let's go ahead and taxi. So release parking brake there. Turn around. Okay, and we'll go and take off. Parking brake lever is right here. There we go. Okay, would normally hold short, but today we're not doing that. We're just going to go and line up with the runway. There we go. Turn this thing in. Come on. There we go. It's very nice. Lovely sounds, okay? Oh, my parking brake is not working for some reason. There we go. Parking brake is engaged. Done. Now, we need to put the condition lever to high idle. Let's see what that does to the engine layer. There we go. We got NG rising. Temperature's rising. Let's switch our weather radar to on. We can turn this transponder to on here as well. Everything else looks pretty good. Landing lights can come on. Forget what these lights are for. That's strobe lights. We need them on as well. Cabin lights can be off. Okay, great. If you want any of the panel lights, you can control them from right here. Very straightforward controls. For the cabin lights, obviously, we're not flying in the night, so we're not going to see much of a difference. Okay, so when flying this aircraft, one thing to remember, your torque, the best thing you can do, just to boil it down extremely simply, because it is a very advanced simulation, to make it very, very, very simple, keep your torque above this red line. Propeller RPM, keep it in this green band right here. Your ITT, keep it right up to here, no more than right here. Okay, and that's all you have to do. If you take care of these three things, your engine condition is going to be fine, and you're going to be flying the aircraft just fine. Obviously, this is a very, very rough summary of what actually happens, but that is the best way to go about, the simplest way to go about flying this aircraft. That being mentioned, let's go ahead and take off. For this aircraft, usually when taking off, I do not put full power, because if you do that for too long and you forget to bring down your torque, your RPM, you can have a situation with the temperature and your engine condition is going to drop. If you look at the exhaust here, if you have the visualization pulled up like I do, when this exhaust turns red, that's when you know you are at the very limit of where you're supposed to be in terms of ITT temperatures. There's just a rough guide again. All right. That all being said, we need to drop the flaps, something we forgot. I should have done this before we actually started taxiing, but we need to drop the flaps. So let's do that to position 10 for normal takeoff. If you are doing a short takeoff, you can do that at position 20, which we're not going to do today. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take off with this aircraft. Release parking brake. Let's Oh, I'm having issues there. Okay, let's pull our power up. There we go. We've got plenty of runway room, so it's not a big deal. Okay, nice and easy. Obviously, during takeoff, you can push the engine a little harder. Just make sure you bring it back down once you're done with your takeoff. When we reach 95 knots, we can retract our flaps. There we go. I think we're ready to retract our flaps. Flaps go up. All the way. We can request autopilot now. There we go, flying up to 4,000 feet. Could ask for heading mode. You see the ITT is increasing. We need to bring our propeller down. Not propeller, sorry. Our thrust here. Reduce the torque. Obviously, you also should bring down the propeller lever right here. Just make sure it's in the green band. Now our temperatures are looking good. Do we have enough power? Do we have enough airspeed? I think we do. Climbing at 600. Okay. There we go. Looking good. This is altitude button if you want to use that. There we go. All right. Landing lights can come off. You can turn on the cabin lights now if you want to. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how to take off in a very simple manner with the Black Square, a Caravan Pro. It is that easy if you keep it simple. It's just something to remember. Maintain a constant eye on this ITT and adjust the propeller and torque figures to make sure you achieve a favorable ITT. Now here we can see the speed is decreasing a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I've got some torque, room for increasing some torque here. Can increase that a little bit. You can see the ITT is rising, but we're still good. There we go. Now we can fly with the engine in low idle, the condition lever in low idle. So once you reach your target altitude of 4,000 feet here, we can actually turn this to low idle. We can actually turn the condition lever to low idle and continue flying normally. It is possible. So that's not a big deal. All right. Let's see. Let's turn the heading there. Very nice. The autopilot is a very basic one that you often find in the GA aircraft. Nothing complicated at all. You can switch the various modes. It's simple, but it's effective. There you go. It's that easy to get started with this particular aircraft. Alright, I hope you guys found that quick startup tutorial useful. So yeah, this is a very lovely aircraft with a lot of advanced simulations and options available. So it's going to take you a while to explore all of them. However, there is always a simple way to get started with it, which I hope you guys were able to pick up. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Consider liking and subscribing if this tutorial helped you out. I will try and follow up with further tutorials on the same aircrafts. Once again, thank you so much, and I hope this helped. See you in the next one.